Hi friends, I hope you have a wonderful day, and this time I'm gonna be reacting to when Fernando Alonso loses his temper. I kind of thought that he is kind of chill. Of course, F1 isn't chill. So yeah, let's start.
From absolutely blowing up the team radio.
How is the balance?
I don't know.
To completely losing control.
What more I have to do? It's ridiculous.
Fernando Alonso has given us some of the most intense and unforgettable moments through his meltdowns and original insults.
Fernando, how was your race?
My race was a lot more exciting than yours, I think.
Do you remember them all? Let's see. To kick things off, let's talk about the 20...
Okay, I understand, because like he should have a lot of moments where he loses his temper, I guess, because he is there many years. I forgot, 20 something years, right? So yeah, it's a lot.
2014 Brazilian Grand Prix. Just to give you some context, this was Alonso's last year at Ferrari, after 5 long seasons without a single good car.
What?
Things were somehow about to get even worse, with the team firing people left and right, trying to find someone to fix their mess. Alonso, who didn't see them winning anytime soon, had already decided to join McLaren Honda the next year.
We'll join a project that is not for next year only, it's for a long-term relationship, and I think it's the project that will challenge Mercedes hopefully soon, and is why I make the decision.
After being out of F1 for several years, Honda came back with McLaren, trying to reignite their success from the 80s and 90s. It was a risky but promising project, and there were a lot of high hopes. The F14T that year was a complete disaster, definitely one of the worst Ferraris ever, and Alonso was getting a tiny bit frustrated.
I have to say that the car was not totally repaired. The steering on the right was so light, on the left was so heavy that it was very strange to drive, but enough to complete the qualifying.
They say it was the only car that could both oversteer and understeer at the same time. And honestly, seeing how Alonso had
How?
to keep it on track, I think I believe it. And to think he even got 2 podiums with that thing. Absolute beast. Interlagos. Alonso was just hoping for an easy weekend before leaving Ferrari, but the team seemed hell-bent on making his life a nightmare until the very end. Right at the start of his first attempt in Q1, Maldonado breezed past him. Yeah, you heard that right, Maldonado. And yeah, even though the Venezuelan always liked to mess around and go off track, this time it wasn't his fault. Alonso was in fact complaining about his own team.
Why I can't start the qualifying with a low battery? How is possible?
What?
Exactly. Ferrari had sent him out on track without the car being ready. By then, the Spaniard was just done with the team. Sometimes I wonder how they can make those mistakes, but I guess some things
Basically, you had a one job.
never change. Obviously, Alonso had to head back to the garage to recharge the batteries, and on his second try, he finally nailed a good lap, making it through to the next session and ending up 8th in qualifying. Not bad, given how it started. Later, once he had calmed down, he managed to explain what had happened whilst trying to keep it politically correct.
Some issues early on, you didn't sound too happy on the radio. Were you happy by the end of that?
Yeah, I think in Q1 we were not ready with some settings that they were wrong, and we missed the first attempt in Q1, but then things went back to normal.
And just look how happy he was when he finished his last race with Ferrari. But if he had known what was coming with McLaren, I don't think he would have been so happy. The Honda project turned out to be a total mess, and 2015 was a complete disaster. Neither the engine nor the car worked. Even with 2 world champions, Alonso and Button, the car was a total dud, and they barely even finished races. By the 7th race of the season in Canada, after starting 13th, he was hoping to at least fight for some points. Vettel, who started 2 places behind due to a penalty, quickly caught up with him and thought passing him would be easy. But Alonso wanted to race, and even with that crappy McLaren, actually made things difficult for the German. Given that the McLaren was 12 miles per hour slower on the straights than the Ferrari, it was an impressive move by Alonso. Once behind Vettel, Alonso kept pushing to avoid falling out of the points. But rather than being impressed by the Spaniard's pace, McLaren's engineers were more worried that if he kept pushing like that, the cars just wouldn't hold up. So they didn't exactly send him any congratulatory messages.
We must save fuel, we must target 0.
Alonso's response? Well, I don't think it was what they were expecting.
I don't want.
We're going to have big problems later if we don't.
Already I have big problems now. Driving with this and looking like amateur. So I race and then I concentrate in the fuel.
And I mean, as a race engineer, what do you even answer after hearing that? I'm not sure if it's because the Spaniard wouldn't back down or what, but saving fuel wouldn't have made a difference anyway, because a few laps later, on lap 43, he had to retire when the engine called it quits. And that wasn't the only time Alonso lost it with the team that year. In Japan, he had one of the most memorable radio moments of all time, when he got fed up with how slow his car was.
GP2 engine. GP2.
It was pure frustration. That year was just too much for the Spaniard, who started dealing with the stress by taking it with humour. But his second stint with McLaren had its share of action too. Not many moments, but a few that more than deserve their place in this video. In 2017, the team still hadn't gotten their act together, so Alonso had to once again settle for a couple of points and seeing any race finish as a win. In Monza, he qualified 13th. And during the race, he was fighting to stay close to the points on lap 14, when Julian Palmer went all out against him. Alonso, of course, wasn't too happy with that move.
What Palmer is doing? He needs to give me back the position.
Palmer obviously got a penalty, but the Spaniard still wasn't happy.
Palmer has a 5-second penalty.
5 seconds, it's a joke.
And even as the laps went by, Alonso couldn't get Palmer off his mind.
Where is Palmer?
And this time, there was good news.
And Fernando Palmer has retired.
Alonso's reaction couldn't have been better.
Palmer.
And can you guess how the race ended for our favourite Spaniard? Yeah, once again, his McLaren broke down and he ended up just like Palmer. But the Brit wasn't the only one to get Alonso fired up, not even close. Throwback to Bahrain 2012. The Spaniard, once again getting the most out of one of the most mediocre Ferraris he had, was fighting Rosberg on lap 23 when the German made this aggressive move. And see that car in the back doing the perfect 360? It could only be the one and only Crash Store Maldonado. But Alonso wasn't about to stay quiet after Rosberg's move, showing his frustration over the radio once again.
Okay, he pushed me off the track. I think you have to leave a space. All the time you have to leave a space.
Classic Alonso, venting as much as he could over the radio, with a lesson included. It was the second time Rosberg had pulled that move in the same spot, as he had done the same with Hamilton a bit earlier. Amazingly, he didn't get any penalty and finished 5th. Meanwhile, Alonso only managed 7th, as he got...
Like, you can feel his strategy. Kind of sounds wrong. I hope you get it. You get it.
got stuck behind Paul di Resta, but his radio message didn't go unnoticed, and at the press conference for the next race, Vettel made sure to remind everyone.
You have to leave it the space. All the time you have to leave it the space.
Alonso's reaction was priceless. He was dying inside, until he came up with this clever comment.
As I did last year with Sebastian in Monza.
Referring to this moment where he pulled this on Vettel. What about leaving the space? And yes, that line has become iconic.
Yeah, but... something similar was with Verstappen. Like, all the time when someone else don't leave you a space, it's just a shit show. But there still is a moment when that driver don't have enough space at the same position, I will say. But like, it's happening like that. It's kind of normal, I think. Okay, it's frustrating when you are the one getting off the track, but but it is what it is, I guess.
And if you watch my channel, you've probably come across a bunch of memes about it. But that was nothing compared to Hungary 2018, where once again McLaren was the victim of his anger and frustration. After 4 years of non-stop disasters and no light at the end in sight, the Spaniard had truly had enough. It's no wonder why he took a 2-year break from Formula 1 after that season. At that point, he basically didn't care about anything anymore. Heavy rain hit the Hungaroring during Q2, and before they switched to full wets, it was a real toss-up whether to stick with intermediates or not. Track conditions were very tricky, with many drivers making mistakes and spinning out. And who better to decide which tyres than drivers, right? That's what the McLaren engineers thought too.
Fernando, do you think we should do a new set of inters or wets? New inters or wets?
But once again, Alonso's reaction left everyone speechless.
I think we should go to the garage and see the conditions. You know, with the wets we can go out, but if we are 25 seconds slower, it's just running for nothing. We need to improve the P11.
His track engineer tried to calm him down.
Okay, Fernando, if we did that, we would just have time. It would be only for one time lap at the end. It would be one at the end.
With not much luck.
I don't know, mate. Put whatever tire you want. You know, the last sector is impossible, so even if you put a rocket ship, we will be 11th.
Wow, I can't even imagine the looks on the faces of the McLaren engineers and mechanics after hearing that. After all that work, and then your driver says that. And surprise, surprise, Alonso didn't make the cut and ended up 11th. And honestly, he was right, because look at how far he was from 10th place. I really don't think anything he could have done would have changed things with that car. And I think he's learned to deal with it. Well, kinda.
He had the pace.
What a season. What a season.
But when a rival gets in his way, that's where he really needs to work on his temper. Enter the 2022 Belgian Grand Prix. The Spaniard qualified 6th, but thanks to some penalties for drivers in front, he'd be starting 3rd on Sunday, with Hamilton right behind him. And with the Mercedes being way faster than the Alpine, it was only a matter of time before Hamilton got past. But the Brits seemed really eager to get it done quickly, and went for it right after the start at Le Mans.
And they make contact!
Alonso couldn't do anything. He literally gave Hamilton all the space he could. Hamilton's car was wrecked from the hit, and Alonso, who lost a few positions, managed to keep going, but not without blowing off some steam, of course, over the radio.
Yeah, what an idiot. Closing the door from the outside. I mean, we had a mega start, but this guy only knows how to drive starting first.
Straight up brutal. No filter whatsoever. I'm sure Hamilton haters would be thrilled to hear that. After that, the Spaniard had a solid race, holding off Leclerc and finishing 5th, which was pretty good for that Alpine. But after the race with...
But like, I get it, like... Bad luck is striking him almost all the time, like... As I know from one other video, like, almost every time when he is going away from some teams, like, almost immediately the team understand what they did do wrong with their car. So, yeah, if you are driving with shit, then it could be like that. And you could get angry very quickly, at least in my opinion.
Tempers cooled down. He had no choice but to apologize.
Something that I said on the heat of the moment, after frustration, after high adrenaline, but I don't think that, and I have huge respect for him, and I will apologize.
And what can you really say afterwards, once things have cooled down? Alonso's the driver with the most race starts in history, so he's definitely been through a ton of tense moments that would bring out the worst in all of us. And I think it's fair to say he's not exactly the chillest driver on the grid, but the gems he drops for us to enjoy, legendary. Alonso's given us so many memorable moments when losing his temper that it'd be impossible to list them all. As a bonus, here are a few of his targets, like Magnussen and the FIA itself in 2018.
What I see from Magnussen can never show my life. He pushed me wide in 10-7, in 10-11, and 10-12. It's ridiculous. The FIA, ridiculous.
Ralf Schumacher in 2003.
And he's saying, hey, buddy, but concentrate, Alonso. Do not get into all of that action. Do that later on when the race is finished.
And of course towards his own race engineer, like this time in 2005.
Now I arrive to him. What more I have to do?
Trust me, the Spaniard is a never-ending source of these moments. So if you guys make sure this video doesn't flop, I think I might just make a part 2. And while these moments are absolutely unforgettable, there are days that made our beloved sport unforgettable for completely different reasons. If you want to see what I mean, watch this now. And as always, thank you for watching.
This video suggestion sounds just terrible. Looks kind of old-ish. Oh my god. Yeah, there is a lot of moments with Alonso. Yeah, I kind of thought that he is a little bit chiller, if that is even a word. But yeah, I totally understand that he could get frustrated. Yeah, he really have a lot of history and in F1, so yeah. Whew. So yeah, I hope that you did enjoy this video, and if you did, please consider to leave a like and subscribe, and yeah, take care. Bye.